Okay, this is part 4, part 2, part 2. So I guess it's like part 16. I don't know. But let's go through the second part of the second part of the fourth part. So wait, hold on, that's 2 times, yeah, so that's 16. How slanty is the line? We talk about that as slope. It's always going to be the change in y over the change in x, and that's always what it looks like on our xy tables. Is we look at the change here and the change there, and then we do y over x. And if you can simplify, you simplify, etc. It's incredibly important you remember that, and the next lesson we go over is going to be using the formula, the slope formula, given 2 points. We've already done a variation of it, and we're about to go over that, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Also, b is your starting point, your y-intercept. That's also when x is 0. So anytime you have x as 0, you're also going to be seeing a y-intercept. So 0, 5, and that's because we're going over 0 and we're going up 5. That's where it's crossing through. So what we did was you're able to count from point to point. And basically what we're doing is we're finding the change in y. It's changing by 1, 2, down 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over 10. So that is a slope of negative 1/5. Your y-intercept is where it crosses through the y-axis, and if you never are given that, then you can always substitute 0 in for your equation that you have right here. 1/5 times 0 is 0. But then you find out what you have to add, and it would be 2. It's crossing through at negative 2. Positive or negative, so here's where we obviously have a negative line because we have a negative slope, and we also have that. This is an equation. I know that you've been getting the pieces correct, but you have not yet mastered writing the pieces into the equation. We're working on that still. That's why we're still doing one more. There were 2 ways that you could have done this. You can start with your y-intercept and plot it at positive 1 and then go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And now you have your coordinates 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 5, and the next one would be 7. And you can see how it's increasing by 2. Now we have the 2 points. So what you can do is count the rise over the run. You can also take these 2 coordinates, 2, 5, and negative 2, negative 3. Let's just go ahead and throw that in there. Okay, and you have a y-intercept of positive 1. And you can see how this is working out. We know it's going to change by 2. So this is changing by 1. Cool. So then plus 2. It's going to be 3 and then 7. You can also substitute them in. I know that you have a difficult time with substituting, and not that there's something wrong with that, but it is a very integral part of solving equations, systems of equations, as well as linear equations. So you could always substitute any x value n, and it'll output a y value. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1, and that's where you get the 0, 1. Then this is where you've been putting the pieces together, and we're making this a little more complicated. You've been having to simplify fractions more often. So plus 1, so that would be just 1x. And then we substitute. So since we have this part, we don't know what we're adding or subtracting. I like what you did last time. You just said, hey, it's 0, 1. And you did that on all of them, and that was fantastic. That's your shortcut. That is your actual equation. Now, I'm going to be leaving 0 out because I want you to be able to substitute it in to find out what you're going to add and subtract whenever you substitute an x value in for 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Okay, well, how do I get to 1? I need to add 1. And the same thing, 1 times 1 is 1. How do I get to 2? Plus 1. Okay? Yes, he still is crying. This is the first problem from last time. I'm going to just go over the basics of this extremely quickly. Everything you did was right and is very impressive. So negative 2, 1, So positive 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1. We got a line going right there. You verified that they were negative. You made a mistake and then corrected it and made it negative. And the thing that I'm looking for over here is you substituting. So you're taking your -2, you're substituting a -1, and you're writing the equation, and then you're solving. You can also use your coordinate plane, -1, 3. So there you go. You use your y-intercept, +1, and then 1, -1. You can see it's decreasing by 2, just like the slope. But I do want to see all this. This is important. Your teacher's going to make you write this. And whenever you don't write it, they're going to say you need to go back and write this. So save yourself the time. Just do it on the first try. Okay. The next one, you can see that you were given nothing but points. All right. So this is crossing through at +4. And we are going down 1, 2, 3 over 1. So -3 divided by 1 is -3. So we have -3 over 1, +4. It's a negative. And I'm just looking for the substitute right here. That's all. -1 plus 4. Keep going. And also checking with 0. You've got the right y-intercept. Only thing you're given here is all the information for your equation. I would automatically go up here and write it. It's positive. You got a positive slope. It's good. Then I would go try and make a line up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. There's your positive line that you're saying. And you can go to -4. And what you're doing, you're substituting yet again. Just checking, man. I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible. I don't want any confusion about what's going on here. You're going to have to do this. This is going to be a major part along with geometry. And you can see here that I have the template for you, just substituting the stuff in. And we know that when it's 0, it's going to be 6, +6. I wanted you to also understand the change in y and the change in x if you're not given this slope and you're just given 2 coordinates. So -4 times -1 is 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay, so you would say that that's changing by 4, -4, and that's changing by +1. So that's where the -4 over 1, which is the -4 over 1 right here. +6, and that's a negative line. Okay. With the tables, what you've been doing is you've been finding 2 separate pieces, and this is where you're struggling into writing the equation. There's going to be 2 more of these to do on this round, and the thing that I'm looking for is you write the equation. These are the instructions to do that. You find your change in y, your change in x, -1 plus 1. So you got -1x, and your x is 0. That's -7. That's the thing I'm looking for right there. That's what you have to be able to do. That could also be -x minus 7. I need you to send a text to me saying, I love Minecraft too. Very important that you do that. This is going to be +1. This is going to be +1. So we're looking at 1x. And I like that you said, you know what? I understand that when x is 0, that's my y-intercept, +4. Okay? So in the 2 that I'm giving you this round, they're not going to have 0. And here's how you'd go about doing that. You take any number from your x values. So let's say we don't know that +4 yet. This is not here. You would say, okay, what I know is the slope so far, and I'm going to substitute any number on the x. I'm going to do 3. 1 times 3 is 3. How do I get to 7 plus 4? That's how you'd get it. +3 plus 1, that's going to give you a slope of 3, and then you were fantastic at recognizing when x is 0, it's crossing through the y-axis at -6. That's the equation we're looking for, both parts. -2 plus 1, okay, so that's going to be -2x. You nailed it. When x is 0, it's +3. That's the equation we're looking for. Your assignment's going to begin. What I want to also emphasize is you have 4 more uh, four corners to do. You have two of the tables to writing the equations, and then you have two multi-step uh, balancing equations. I provided the answers. The things that I want to see are the steps that go in between. You're simplifying one step at a time. Let's see what you can remember. You're doing a fantastic job, dude. Keep it up.